The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, November 7, reveal that Summer Newman and Chance Chancellor will face some growing problems in their relationship. Some tension has already been rising in Chance and Summer's romance lately, but it seems poised to boil over on Thursday's I&R episode. Since Summer isn't happy about Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s recent arrest, she'll let her resentment build until it's ready to blow. Tempers are sure to flare as accusations get tossed around. Of course, Chance has no influence on what the district attorney decides, but Summer will still feel like he's not working hard enough to find Heather Stevens' real culprit. Summer may assume Chance thinks Daniel is guilty and lash out at him in a big way. This could lead to a split if Chance and Summer can't find some common ground. Summer and Chance may at least settle on taking a break, since all this Daniel drama is just too much for them right now. Over with Diane Jenkins Abbott, she'll have a secret message for someone. There'll be some sort of cryptic communication, so Diane might text a partner in crime that'll ultimately be revealed. Since our predictions still point to Diane and Jack Abbott fooling everyone with phony marriage destruction, it could be Diane's own husband who receives her message. Other I&R spoilers say Victor Newman will drop hints about some surprising news. Nikki Newman may realize Victor's up to something and worry trouble is on the horizon. However, this will actually be a wonderful gift that Nikki's sure to love. Victor has been overseeing a hush-hush project for Nikki over the past few months, so he'll look forward to unveiling the epic results. This will lead to the debut of the restored Newman Ranch, set on Friday's show. Thursday's episode may bring a cliffhanger where Nikki is blindfolded and brought into the house, which will be a replica of the home Sharon Newman once burned down. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor's recreation will impress Nikki when time comes, so stay tuned for updates on her reaction. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 indicate some interesting developments in the land of Genoa City. Next on Young and the Restless. One person wants justice served, while another is backed into a corner, and someone is keeping secrets. What kind of drama is set to unravel on Wednesday? Time to dive right in. I&R spoilers. Daniel Romalotti is looking for justice. I&R spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 revealed Daniel Romalotti is still looking for justice where Heather Stevens' murder is concerned. Sadly, he was the one hauled in and charged for his partner's demise. So what steps will Daniel take to ensure the right person gets brought into the station? Between trying to say goodbye to Heather and being accused of her murder, plus having to protect his daughter, Lucy Romalotti, Daniel is going through a lot. Will he make it through all this drama unscathed? The Young and the Restless. Phyllis Summers backs Sharon Newman into a corner. Speaking of Daniel, Y&R spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 imply that his mom, Phyllis Summers, will continue to take matters into her own hands when she backs Sharon Newman into a corner. Phyllis is convinced Sharon is the one behind Heather's demise, and in many ways, she's not wrong. But what will Red do to her nemesis, and can she get Sharon to crack? It'll be interesting to see what happens next in this very messy storyline. Y&R spoilers. Christine Blair keeps a secret. Lastly, Y&R spoilers for Wednesday hint that Christine Blair will keep a secret. What could this be about? Will she find out about Phyllis' plan to try and get Sharon to spill all and keep it hush-hush, or is this about Daniel? Will he reveal something that makes him look even guiltier in Heather's case? Fans will have to tune in to find out. What storyline are you most looking forward to on Wednesday? Share your thoughts below. Watch the CBS Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit SOS for the most up-to-date Young and the Restless spoilers and news. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6, 2024, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect there to be a delay in Heather Stevens' funeral service. Daniel Romalotti, juror demands justice. Coming up on The Young and the Restless. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman gets cornered. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Phyllis Summers' justice scheme. Lie&R spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 reveal that Phyllis Summers is determined to clear Daniel while proving Sharon killed Heather. Phyllis wants to use guilt and lies to push Sharon over the edge. While this could get Sharon to blurt out the killer truth, it could also get Phyllis killed. Summer Newman already warned Phyllis that her plan is going to backfire. Once Phyllis gets something in her head, though, it's impossible to get it out. Lie&R spoilers. Sharon Newman cornered. With all of the losses mounting for Phyllis, she seems to be spiraling mentally as well. In any case, Phyllis will move forward with her plan to push Sharon over the edge. Phyllis thinks that Sharon won't be able to resist showing up at Heather's service. It seems that Nick Newman might intercept and stop Phyllis from doing too much to Sharon. Even though Sharon is guilty, Nick doesn't realize that yet. So, Nick will pull out all the stops to keep things somewhat civil. Sharon might even escort Nick to the funeral, claiming she just wants to pay her respects. Lie&R spoilers. Daniel Romalotti, Jr.'s demand. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 reveal that Daniel will continue demanding justice. Sharon already planted crazy seeds in Daniel and Nick's minds about Phyllis' mental stability. So Phyllis' plan could just make her look crazier than Sharon. Hopefully, Phyllis' plan doesn't make things any worse for Daniel, as Summer already predicted. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Wednesday, November 6, 2024. On Wednesday, November 6, Christine Blair keeps some new intel hidden. It has something to do with Daniel's criminal case, but it's not clear exactly what information this is. There is also reason to believe that Heather's funeral service might be delayed. Perhaps new evidence will stop the burial for some reason, so stay tuned for that. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Wednesday, November 6, 2024? What are your predictions for Daniel, Sharon, Christine, and Phyllis? What does the future hold for Nick, Summer, and the rest of the Genoa City residents? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. On The Young and the Restless, whispers around Genoa City grew louder and darker each day. The murder of Heather had shaken the community, and rumors spread like wildfire. Some pointed fingers at Sharon, but the truth was tangled in a web of deceit that few dared to unravel. Sharon's memory of that fateful night was a blur, a sudden blackout, a glimpse of Heather lying in a pool of blood, and then darkness. When she awoke, horror set in, but the truth remained obscured. She was blamed, painted as the murderer, yet in her heart, she knew there was more to the story. She suspected that Phyllis was behind the twisted setup. Phyllis had never hidden her disdain for both Heather and Sharon. Her rivalry with Heather had been notorious, filled with bitter words and long-standing resentment. But framing someone for murder was monstrous, even for Phyllis. Still, Sharon couldn't shake the feeling that Phyllis was orchestrating the entire situation, pulling strings to implicate her and escape unscathed. Chance, the detective on the case, shared Sharon's suspicions. He kept a watchful eye on Phyllis, well aware of her reputation in Genoa City. Known for her cutthroat business tactics and ability to make enemies disappear, Phyllis had always managed to evade the law, slipping through loopholes with cunning. Many had speculated over the years that Phyllis might have blood on her hands, and the whispers weren't without basis. Chance's instincts were sharp, but he needed proof. Phyllis was slippery, a master of manipulation who knew how to evade suspicion. Her flawless alibis, network of allies, and unique charm had allowed her to stay above the law time and again. Chance knew he couldn't afford a misstep. If he was going to bring Phyllis to justice, he needed undeniable proof, a task easier said than done. Meanwhile, Sharon was determined to clear her name. She couldn't bear the thought of living under the shadow of a crime she didn't commit. Despite her fears and gaps in memory, Sharon began piecing together the events of that night, scrutinizing every detail, conversation, and possible clue. She sought help from her closest allies, digging into Heather's recent activities, trying to uncover any link that might point back to Phyllis. Her investigation revealed that Heather had stumbled upon sensitive information, details that could have destroyed Phyllis's reputation and career. It became clear Phyllis had a motive, one powerful enough to push her to extremes. As Sharon's investigation continued, she crossed paths with Chance. Initially skeptical of her motives, Chance was convinced by her passion and determination. Together, they dug deeper into Phyllis's past, unearthing old records, testimonies, and any hint of foul play connecting her to Heather's death. But Phyllis was no ordinary adversary. She stayed one step ahead, covering her tracks with meticulous care. Every lead seemed to slip through their fingers, as if Phyllis anticipated their every move. Yet Sharon refused to give up. She knew Phyllis was watching, waiting for her to stumble, but Sharon wasn't about to let Phyllis win. She pushed forward, determined to expose the woman who had framed her. As she and Chance got closer to the truth, they found themselves ensnared in a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Phyllis had her own allies, people willing to lie and cover for her, shifting the blame back onto Sharon. But the evidence was mounting, and with each new discovery, Chance grew more confident they were closing in on Phyllis. Then came the breakthrough. A security camera captured a grainy glimpse of someone near Heather's house the night of her death. The figure's build and gait matched Phyllis's. It was enough for Chance to act, but he knew he needed more before confronting her. In a tense confrontation, Sharon and Chance laid out their findings to Phyllis, each piece of evidence chipping away at her alibi. Phyllis tried to maintain her composure, but her confidence wavered under their scrutiny. "Sharon, you're making a mistake," Phyllis sneered, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "You don't know what you're getting into." "Oh, I know exactly what I'm getting into," Sharon replied, her voice steady with resolve. "And I'm not stopping until the truth comes out." Phyllis's smirk faltered as Chance stepped closer. "The law is finally catching up with you, Phyllis," he said, his gaze unwavering. "You may have escaped before, but this time, we're bringing you down." As tension filled the room, Phyllis's mask of innocence slipped, revealing a dangerous glint in her eyes. She knew she was cornered, but she wasn't going down without a fight. Sharon and Chance were prepared, ready to see justice served. The journey ahead was treacherous, filled with deceit and danger, but Sharon had allies, determination, and a cause worth fighting for. Phyllis's days of manipulation were numbered. In Genoa City, secrets had a way of surfacing, and even the most cunning criminals eventually faced the consequences. The somber sky mirrored the grief of those gathered at the Grand Chapel in Genoa City. Heather's funeral had finally been approved by the authorities after several agonizing days since her untimely death. The air was thick with sorrow, mingled with an undercurrent of tension that only profound loss could breed. Friends and family filled the pews, their faces etched with sadness, waiting for the ceremony to commence. Sharon Newman stood at the front, her eyes red-rimmed from crying, while Phyllis Summers hovered nearby, her demeanor cold and unyielding. The two women had always shared a complicated relationship, often teetering on the brink of friendship and rivalry. Today, their mutual grief over Heather had ignited old tensions, pushing them to the edge of confrontation. As the funeral began, the congregation fell silent, the only sound being the gentle rustling of programs and the occasional sniffle. Sharon's voice cracked as she delivered a heartfelt eulogy, reminiscing about Heather's kindness and vibrant spirit. Phyllis, however, couldn't contain her bitterness. Memories of past grievances resurfaced, and her eyes darkened with unspoken resentment. Midway through the ceremony, a subtle shift occurred. The atmosphere, already heavy with emotion, became electric with unspoken animosity. Sharon and Phyllis found themselves seated closer than usual, their unresolved tensions bubbling just beneath the surface. A minor comment from Sharon about Heather's unwavering support for her family struck a nerve with Phyllis, who had always felt overshadowed by Heather's popularity. "Sharon, not everything was perfect," Phyllis interjected sharply, her voice cutting through the mournful silence. "Heather had her flaws, just like the rest of us." Sharon's eyes flashed with anger. "Don't you dare tarnish Heather's memory. She was the best person we knew." The room seemed to hold its breath as the two women stared each other down, their grief morphing into palpable hostility. Voices began to rise, and the tension was so thick that it felt as though a fight was inevitable. Just as Sharon took a step forward, Phyllis mirrored her movement, and the two were moments away from a full-blown altercation. Suddenly, a group of attendees intervened, pulling them apart with firm but gentle grips. Friends and family members stepped in, diffusing the situation with calm, soothing words. The threat of violence hung in the air for a brief moment before the two women were separated, their anger tempered by the collective desire to honor Heather's memory. As the ceremony progressed, an unexpected and eerie event sent a chill through everyone present. When the coffin was finally lowered into the ground, there was a collective gasp. Instead of the expected presence of Heather's body, the casket was empty, only heavy bricks lay inside, a stark and inexplicable sight that left the mourners bewildered and horrified. Whispers rippled through the crowd. "Where is Heather's body? What's going on?" Panic began to set in as confusion turned into fear. Sharon clutched her chest, her mind racing with the horrifying possibility that Heather might still be alive. Daniel and Lucy, Heather's close friends, were inconsolable, their grief compounded by the terrifying uncertainty of Heather's fate. They had no idea who could have orchestrated such a sinister act, or why. Devastation turned to suspicion, and questions hung in the air like dark clouds. Who would benefit from Heather's body being stolen? Was it a message, a twisted form of revenge, or something more sinister? Devin Newman, a trusted friend and confidant, stepped forward, his analytical mind racing to piece together the puzzle. He had heard rumors of Heather's recent struggles, but had dismissed them as mere hearsay. Now, confronted with this horrifying reality, he felt a surge of determination to uncover the truth. Sharon, trembling with a mix of fear and anger, addressed the crowd. "We need answers. Who did this to Heather? Why would someone take her body?" The police, visibly shaken, began cordoning off the area, their faces pale with the weight of the situation. Detective Linda Baldwin took charge, her authoritative presence bringing a semblance of order to the chaos. "We're launching a full investigation," she announced, though her voice lacked conviction. At this point, it's too early to speculate on what happened. As the crowd dispersed, conversations buzzed with theories and suspicions. Some believed Heather had faked her death to escape her problems, while others thought foul play was involved, hinting at enemies she might have had. Devin couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a random act of violence. He had to delve deeper to protect those he cared about from the darkness that had now enveloped their lives. Sharon, grappling with the fear that Heather might still be alive, reached out to Devin privately. "We need to find out what really happened." The Young and the Restless spoilers. In Genoa City, the rivalry between Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman has taken a darker turn. Driven by the need for vengeance, Phyllis is determined to expose Sharon's past sins, even if it means drawing her daughter, Summer, into her elaborate scheme. With Heather's funeral around the corner, Phyllis sees an opportunity to trap Sharon and make her confront the consequences of her actions. But Sharon's instincts and her uncanny ability to foresee Phyllis's moves may lead this plot down an unexpected path. Phyllis's plan for revenge. Phyllis has never been one to back down from a challenge, especially when it comes to Sharon. In her mind, Sharon's continued freedom is an injustice, a reminder that the woman she believes is responsible for Heather's death has yet to face any repercussions. Fueled by rage and frustration, Phyllis devises a plan to force Sharon to relive her guilt and ultimately expose her true nature. Her aim is simple yet ruthless: confront Sharon with the weight of her alleged sins and publicly disgrace her. The funeral for Heather, set to take place the next day, presents the perfect opportunity. Phyllis is certain Sharon will attend, as her absence would only raise suspicion. But this is no ordinary event in Phyllis's eyes. It's the ideal setting to turn the tables on Sharon, forcing her into a corner where she'll be unable to escape her past. Phyllis has everything meticulously planned with one aim: make Sharon crack under pressure. Summer's reluctant role. For Summer, being dragged into her mother's vendetta is both confusing and distressing. While she's loyal to Phyllis, Summer is hesitant to get involved in the long-standing feud between her mother and Sharon. The thought of setting a trap for Sharon, especially at a funeral, feels deeply uncomfortable. However, her loyalty to her mother and her own complex feelings toward Sharon compel her to help Phyllis execute the plan. Summer's reluctance is evident, and she grapples with guilt, questioning whether she's doing the right thing by aiding in this bitter pursuit of vengeance. Chance's protective role. Meanwhile, Chance Chancellor has taken on the role of Sharon's protector. He views Sharon as a woman unjustly targeted by Phyllis's family, a perception that blinds him to the complexities of the situation. In Chance's eyes, Phyllis and her family are ruthless and relentless, seeking to ruin Sharon without any legitimate cause. He dismisses their claims, convinced they are driven purely by malice. As Phyllis's plan unfolds, Chance remains close to Sharon, determined to shield her from what he sees as an unwarranted attack. Chance's belief in Sharon's innocence creates a significant obstacle for Phyllis, as he's one of the few people willing to stand by Sharon's side. But Phyllis is undeterred, aware that if her plan succeeds, even Chance will be forced to reconsider his unwavering support for Sharon. The trap, a carefully orchestrated setup. Phyllis's plan is intricate, designed to make Sharon confront her past, while also creating an opportunity for her to slip up in public. Phyllis anticipates that Sharon's guilt and remorse over Heather's death will surface under pressure, exposing her to everyone in attendance. The idea is simple: create an emotional environment where Sharon's composure might crack, revealing the darkness Phyllis believes lies beneath. However, Phyllis's scheme doesn't account for Sharon's intuition and keen insight. Sharon, aware of the animosity Phyllis harbors toward her, quickly picks up on the warning signs. She suspects that Heather's funeral could be used against her, an ambush designed to humiliate and provoke her. Understanding the risk, Sharon chooses to stay guarded and avoid any traps Phyllis might have set. Sharon's tactical response. Sharon's recent experiences have sharpened her instincts. Her ability to navigate the tensions in Genoa City without succumbing to outside pressures has earned her a reputation for intelligence and caution. She quickly senses that Phyllis's intentions at the funeral may go beyond simple attendance. Her guarded demeanor is a testament to her resilience, and she refuses to let her enemies see any vulnerability. Sharon decides to play it safe, keeping her emotions under control and avoiding situations where she might be manipulated. With her sharp mind and self-restraint, Sharon manages to evade Phyllis's trap by staying one step ahead. She turns the tables, leaving Phyllis frustrated and enraged. Sharon's ability to outwit her rival only intensifies the feud, as Phyllis realizes this battle may be far from over. A showdown of wills, who will prevail? The ongoing rivalry between Sharon and Phyllis has now become a battle of wits. Both women are determined to gain the upper hand, and their tactics are becoming increasingly cunning. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 tease that Daniel wants justice for Heather, Phyllis backs Sharon into a corner, and Christine keeps a secret. Here's all the juicy dish you need to know to be in the know about your favorite soap. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Phyllis is determined. Phyllis Summers is more determined than ever to show that Sharon Newman is guilty of killing Heather Stevens. Phyllis expects Sharon to come to Heather's service and makes a valiant move to prove that Daniel Romalotti is innocent. The end result is that Sharon is more rattled and upset than ever before. I&R spoilers. Sharon is rattled. Phyllis wants Sharon to confess in public that she is a killer. What could go wrong? If Nick Newman is present, we expect him to rescue Sharon and tell off Phyllis. Meanwhile, Daniel demands justice for Heather. As Phyllis continues to pressure Sharon, he sees that the blonde is acting strangely, and he gets closer to the conclusion that she is a killer. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Will Daniel confront Sharon? But with Daniel seeing how assertively Phyllis acts, he could be mad at her for being respectful at the service. He loved Heather dearly and doesn't want her memory to be tarnished by his mom's out-of-control venomous attacks on Sharon. Elsewhere, his lawyer Christine Blair keeps a secret. We suspect this has everything to do with her representation of Daniel. Cricket knows how volatile Red is and could decide to ice her out on the new info pertaining to Daniel's case. Smart move. Will Phyllis attack Sharon? However, we don't know yet if the info is for or against Daniel. Either way, Christine is smart enough to know that Phyllis can't be trusted. Whatever it is that Christine finds out, she may want to keep from burdening Daniel on what is one of the hardest days of his life. Spoiler alert, while Phyllis continues to plague Sharon, Ghost Heather is also tormenting her killer. How long can Sharon keep up the charade before she cracks? Halloween may have come and gone, but Sharon's psyche remains haunted. Tracker spoilers and updates reveal former Adam Newman. Justin Hartley's primetime show Tracker is a hit, but it's a win for Justin in more ways than one. His performance in the show has won him high praise from Eric Braeden, his former on-screen dad who plays Victor Newman. Justin was Adam from 2014 to 2016. Tracker spoilers. High praise from Eric Braeden. In 2016, Hartley received a Daytime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. Following the recent episode that showcased soap opera veteran Jensen Ackles as Russell's brother, Hartley garnered praise from Braeden on X. Braeden expressed his admiration, stating, "I just watched Juas Tain Ahrt Aliyi on Tiwaris tonight. Absolutely loved the show. It's no surprise that it's so incredibly successful. I was hooked." Eric continued, comparing Justin to former superstars. Justin is an exceptional actor, very convincing and powerful. He embodies the qualities that all American stars like Jim Emmy Stewart, John Wayne, and James Aaron possessed: fundamental decency, integrity, and strength, and he is simply believable. Tracker spoilers. High praise from a current soap star, but former primetime star. Eric gave Justin high praise for his primetime endeavors, but some longtime fans of Eric's know he starred in a primetime show too. In the late 1960s, he played Captain Hans Dietrich in the show Rat Patrol under his real name of Hans Goodgast. So, Eric likely knew all the stars he compared Justin's talent to, and worked with many of them. His praise for Justin is very reminiscent of a father's. Unfortunately for Adam, he doesn't get a lot of that from Victor on The Young and the Restless. Eric and Justin indeed have been and continue to follow similar paths. Tracker spoilers. Justin's been in other primetime shows, as Eric was also. Although in primetime, Eric Braeden's most remembered for his role in Rat Patrol, he appeared on many primetime shows prior to The Young and the Restless. Braeden's enthusiasm for the show Tracker is completely understandable. It's undeniably a massive success. Justin Hartley has also found his stride as Kevin Pearson in This Is Us, remaining a constant presence from the very first episode to the finale. Now he's ramping up the excitement in Tracker, an American drama series crafted by Ben H. Winters, inspired by Jeffrey Deaver's 2019 novel The Never Game. In this series, Hartley takes on the role of Coulter Shaw, a survivalist tracker who makes his living by helping law enforcement and private individuals in exchange for reward money. Phyllis spent most of the November 5 episode of The Young and the Restless telling Summer about how she was going to make Sharon suffer and gaslight her until she confessed to killing Heather and framing Daniel. Summer was horrified and begged her mother not to go off and be herself, like usual. However, Summer knows, the same way that we know, that there is no stopping Phyllis. This means that Summer could decide to take matters into her own hands and potentially make everything worse, like mother, like daughter. Stop her before she Phyllis as again. Summer is convinced that Phyllis ignoring Christine's advice and going after Sharon on her own will backfire and make Daniel's situation even worse. She tried to make her mom see reason, but Phyllis insisted she was right. So what if Sharon decides that the only way to help her brother is to neutralize Phyllis? Two birds, one wrong stone. Summer might decide to take matters into her own hands and make it so that Phyllis can't prove Sharon killed Heather. But what if, along the way, Summer destroys the evidence that actually could prove that Sharon killed Heather without knowing what it is? Summer could do the wrong thing by trying to do the right thing, while thinking she is doing the right thing to save Phyllis from doing the wrong thing. Man of action. And if Chance finds out, then Summer could be the only one punished for the crime Sharon committed, Daniel was accused of, and Phyllis tried to solve on her own. This will most likely set Phyllis off on another rant. Just what we needed. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Audra Charles is not the top dog at Glissade anymore, a position she bragged about to her ex-lover and mentor, Tucker McCall. Audra did him dirty by confiscating his company, and he has left town, presumably to lick his wounds. But we don't see Tucker being down and out for long, and this has some fans speculating about his return. Did Audra confirm a return of Tucker McCall? She said something to her friend Sally Spectra in the October 30 episode that has some thinking she foreshadowed the future. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Will Tucker McCall return? Audra told Sally that she thinks that Tucker is sabotaging her business deals. That sounds like him, as he is jealous and vengeful. But why would the show name drop the CAD if not for a good reason? Right now, we are only speculating about a possible return by Tucker. But his son Devin Winters is getting married soon, and he may appear even if he is uninvited. During her talk with Sally, Audra claimed that she cannot get out from under Tucker, and November Sweeps World be a good time for the vengeful man to pop up. Is Tucker McCall returning to Y&R? Trevor Street John left his role as Tucker in June. The actor said on X that Tuckers come and Tuckers go, and this Tucker is in his go phase. It sounded like Tucker was taking a temporary sabbatical, whether the actor intended to say that or not. To be clear, the show has not said anything regarding the return of Devin's dad. Y&R spoilers. Do you want Tucker back in GC? But there is another reason why this is a good time for Tucker to come back to GC. His ex Ashley Abbott is coming home after a horrible experience that led her to the mental institution. Tucker is not her favorite person, but they could have unfinished business. Tell us Y&R fans, do you think that November Sweeps is as good a time as any for Tucker to make an appearance? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6, demonstrate that there is more than one way to figure out who really killed Heather. What a shame none of them are sure to work. Mother of the Year. Phyllis just knows that Sharon killed Heather. We kind of saw it happen, but we're not 100% convinced. But Phyllis, who wasn't there and has no evidence, knows it, nonetheless. mainly because if something bad happens, Phyllis wants Sharon to pay. Even if it has nothing to do with her, Phyllis storms over to Sharon's and yells random things at her, figuring Sharon will get so confused and fed up that she'll confess. Has this ever worked for Phyllis before? No, it has not. Will it work this time? Phyllis is confident it will, unless Sharon refuses to cooperate. Discovery learning. Christine agreed to defend Daniel because she loves him and she loves his dad. Phyllis doesn't believe that. She knows that Christine will deliberately throw Daniel's case to get back at her. The only way she might consider changing her mind is if Christine spills her entire defense strategy right now, so Phyllis can evaluate if it's good enough. Christine isn't going to do that. Christine has her own plans for Daniel, and she's going to play those cards pretty close to her vest. Justice served. Sure, Daniel has been arrested for killing Heather, but he's not fighting to free himself. He's fighting for justice for his partner and Lucy's mother. This isn't about him. This is about her. If there is one thing Daniel learned from being Phyllis' son is how to put other people first. That's all he's doing now, honest. Young and restless Victor is planning a big surprise for Abby and Devon's wedding after taking matters into his own hands when their venue canceled at the last minute. But it was the mustache portrayer Eric Braeden who ended up reeling from the unexpected recently, when a huge reveal ahead of the soap's 13,000th episode threw him for a loop, and he wasn't the only one. As viewers will soon see, Victor has had the old ranch rebuilt as a surprise for Nikki, and intends it to be the location at which Abby and Devon's wedding will take place. All this, of course, is a secret, including to Dabby and their guests, who have yet to be told where to go to attend the November nuptials. Soaps readers caught a glimpse of the new/old ranch set when Braeden shared photos on Twitter/X of him and his co-workers in fancy dress. But at that point, nothing was officially confirmed. Now, Deadline has shared the first look at the new ranch in a clip that takes Young and Restless fans behind the scenes to witness Braeden and Melody Thomas Scott getting their first glimpse of their characters' restored former home. Although they knew a new set was in the cards, they were stunned to see the old ranch set refurbished. As Braeden explains in the video, he was moved to tears, as was Thomas Scott, who can be seen in the video exclaiming over the staircase in my house, before sharing an emotional embrace with her on-screen husband. Executive producer and head writer Josh Griffith remarked, "The Newman Ranch burning down was an emotional story for the Newmans, but it was not lost on us that the Newman family and Genoa City just weren't the same without Victor and Nikki's original home." He added that they decided that its return around Oi and R's 13,000th episode would be perfect timing to help celebrate this incredible milestone, as well as the legacy of Victor and Nikki. We couldn't agree with this line of thinking more. The surprise reveal of the new/old ranch is set to air on Friday, November 8, with the 13,000th episode airing on Wednesday, November 13. Some fans will do anything to get across just how much they love and support their favorite daytime star, and one fan of the Young and the Restless Michelle Stafford spent 100 hours doing exactly that, in the most amazing way. The CBS soap vet shared a video on her social media posted by visual artist Incredible Josh, and talk about realistic. The video started with Josh holding a 24x36 piece of paper as the words, "After 100 hours of drawing a hyper-realistic portrait of Michelle Stafford," appeared on the screen. In the next part of the video, with a smile on his face, he turned the paper over to reveal a beautiful, realistic pic of Stafford as the words, "What do you think about this piece?" appeared. Stafford was blown away and stated, "Oh man, Incredible Josh, I love this. You are so beautiful, so lovely. I love this." In presenting his work on his Instagram page, Josh credited Stafford as being an actress whose presence is as striking on paper as it is on screen, and stated that capturing her essence was an intense journey, one that demanded every ounce of focus and patience I could give. Stafford's fans and daytime friends were in awe as well, including castmates Eileen Davidson, who simply stated, "Epic," as Tracy E. Bregman added, "Wow, that's incredible," and General Hospital's Finola Hughes, who happens to be a very good friend of the actress, shared, "What? That is amazing." The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6, 2024, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect there to be a delay in Heather Stevens' funeral service. Daniel Rumalotti Jr. demands justice. Coming up on The Young and the Restless. Meanwhile, Sharon Newman gets cornered. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Phyllis Summers' justice scheme. My and our spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 reveal that Phyllis Summers is determined to clear Daniel while proving Sharon killed Heather. Phyllis wants to use guilt and lies to push Sharon over the edge. While this could get Sharon to blurt out the killer truth, it could also get Phyllis killed. Summer Newman already warned Phyllis that her plan is going to backfire. Once Phyllis gets something in her head, though, it's impossible to get it out. Lie and our spoilers, Sharon Newman cornered. With all of the losses mounting for Phyllis, she seems to be spiraling mentally as well. In any case, Phyllis will move forward with her plan to push Sharon over the edge. Phyllis thinks that Sharon won't be able to resist showing up at Heather's service. It seems that Nick Newman might intercept and stop Phyllis from doing too much to Sharon. Even though Sharon is guilty, Nick doesn't realize that yet. So Nick will pull out all the stops to keep things somewhat civil. Sharon might even escort Nick to the funeral, claiming she just wants to pay her respects. My and our spoilers, Daniel Rumalotti Jr.'s demand. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, November 6 reveal that Daniel will continue demanding justice. Sharon already planted crazy seeds in Daniel and Nick's minds about Phyllis' mental stability. So Phyllis' plan could just make her look crazier than Sharon. Hopefully, Phyllis' plan doesn't make things any worse for Daniel, as Summer already predicted. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Wednesday, November 6, 2024. On Wednesday, November 6, Christine Blair keeps some new intel hidden. It has something to do with Daniel's criminal case, but it's not clear exactly what information this is. There is also reason to believe that Heather's funeral service might be delayed. Perhaps new evidence will stop the burial for some reason, so stay tuned for that. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Wednesday, November 6, 2024? What are your predictions for Daniel, Sharon, Christine, and Phyllis? What does the future hold for Nick, Summer, and the rest of the Genoa City residents? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At the club, Billy reads Jill's text asking him to call her in the morning and warning that his time is running out to fix things at Chancellor. Taking a seat at the bar, he pushes buttons on his phone. At Crimson Lights, Lily answers her phone and asks, "What do you want, Billy?" He wants to talk. She asks if he's still running Chancellor. He says he is. She informs him they have nothing to talk about then. Billy pleads with her to meet him for one drink. "I promise you won't be sorry." Nate lets Amy into his apartment. She's anxious to hear if he's made up his mind. Will he help her find his son, your brother? Nate still hasn't decided and wants to hear more about his half-brother first. Amy will take that as a positive sign. Nate asks what he's like and how he could abandon his mother like this, having to turn to a stranger. Amy feels like she knows Nate since he's so much like his father. She knows he's a good man, just as Damien is deep down. He's a complex man. Nate wants to hear more. Eric Braeden moved to tears over 13,000 episode shock. Amy says Damien was a quiet boy, very studious, and his father was his best friend. Jackson died when he was 16, and it was a terrible blow. Nate can imagine. He lost his father at a young age, but it still left a scar. Nate had strong men in his life to step in and fill the void. Amy says that wasn't the case for Damien. He suddenly lost interest in school and in being a doctor. Nothing seemed to matter to him anymore. They became more and more distant, as though he blamed her somehow for his father's death. After a particularly bad argument, he took off and she hasn't seen him in several years. He sometimes came around for money, but she had to tell him she couldn't support him. She told him he had to get himself together and find purpose. He was furious with her, and she hasn't heard from him since. Nate's sorry. That is a helluva thing to live with. Amy asks if he can see why she's so desperate to make peace with him. Nate can, but doesn't think he's the right person to find him. Tracy walks into Crimson Lights, where Alan greets her for a hug. He's got them a table on the patio and ordered for them. Sitting, Tracy asks him why he doesn't just move in with her already. Unless you're having second thoughts, she points out they're together all the time. Alan concedes he's paying a lot for a suite he hardly uses. He admits he's worried about how her family will feel about him moving in. He's also concerned that Ashley will be triggered about all the things his brother did to her. Tracy says her sister is looking forward to seeing him. She is happy for them, and so is the rest of her family. They love me, and they're happy that I'm so happy. They know it's because of you. He chuckles as she reminds him it's her house too. Emotional, Tracy says she's waited a long time to be this happy and doesn't want to miss another second. It feels like a natural progression for them. Alan says, "In that case, I guess I need a key." They kiss. In Summer's suite, she tells Phyllis she can't believe they're burying Heather tomorrow. Phyllis is glad they talked him into doing something small. They discuss Lucy and Danny not being there. Phyllis assures they'll do something else at a later date when they can attend. Summer hopes that by then the real killer will be locked up. Phyllis tells Summer that the service will be the greatest place to set the trap for Sharon. More, Stafford talks Phyllis versus Sharon. She's sure Sharon will finally admit what she did, and then Daniel can start the grieving process. Summer isn't convinced that Sharon is guilty. Phyllis says, "You wait until tomorrow. You'll see." Summer asks what makes her think she'll show up. Phyllis is sure she'll come to show everyone she's the real victim. She'll be there, and I'll be waiting, to give her a real reason to suffer. Lily meets Billy at the club bar and asks, "What's so urgent?" He's ordered her favorite wine as a peace offering. This makes her more suspicious of his motives. Billy tells her he needs her back. "The company needs you back. Everyone misses you." He hates how things have gone between them, and he wants to clear the air. Lily chuckles. She knows the only reason he's sucking up to her is because Jill forced him to. Billy admits there's been some pressure, which made him see that he's been a jerk. "I'm asking you to come back to Abbott Chancellor. On your terms, of course." At Nate's place, Amy asks him to give it a little more thought. Nate just doesn't think he's the right person to find her son. She disagrees. Nate thinks she needs a professional. Once Damien's found, he'll consider getting to know him. Doing it now and springing it on him that he's his brother seems rash. Amy protests that she's running out of time. Nate understands, but they can't just drop this major revelation on him out of the blue. It could do a lot of damage. What happens when he finds out the man he grew up idolizing was not his biological father? If his whole world took a turn for the worst when he died, how will he handle finding out that man wasn't even his father to begin with? More, two characters returning for Devon's wedding to Abby. Amy sits down heavily. She tried to tell them the truth but couldn't break their hearts. Nate nods, quite a dilemma. Amy laments being at the end of her life with little time to make it right. All she knows is that the only way he'll make a family connection after she's gone is to tell him the truth. It's way past time. Nate says she doesn't need him to find her son. Amy doesn't have the financial resources to hire a detective. She thought that if he knew he had a brother, he'd be compelled to take the search on himself. So what do you think? Nate asks, is that it? Is that what this whole thing has been about? Family? Or is this all one big scam? In Summer's suite, she tells Phyllis to stop for a minute and consider her history with Sharon. It's going to backfire. Phyllis says their history is why this will work. She knows how she'll react when her back is up against the wall. Summer argues that Heather's service isn't the place to try and prove her theory. Phyllis thinks it's exactly the place. Summer regretted trying to do the same thing with Diane. They also can't interfere with Christine's defense. Phyllis scoffs. She doesn't have a case. Summer argues she's good at her job. Phyllis doesn't trust her. Summer yells, "Mom, no, I'm not going to let you mess this up and make things even worse." Phyllis asks, is it not possible she can expose the real killer? Summer admits it's possible. Phyllis is glad to hear her admit it, and that she doesn't think she can do it. At the club bar, Lily learns Phyllis is no longer with Abbott Chancellor. She tells him it doesn't matter. There is no way she'll ever work with him again. Billy says she has a right to be upset, but so does he. She admitted to plotting against him. He admits his mother gave him an ultimatum, but he's not asking her back to please Jill. He made a mistake when he fired her, even though she stabbed him in the back. He let his ego get in the way. Now, he's asking her to remember how great they were together. Lily asks how they're going to trust each other. Billy says they'll put the company first. Phyllis appears with her jaw on the floor as Billy finishes his pitch, telling Lily this is the best shot they have at saving the company. Phyllis interrupts and asks to speak to Billy privately. Lily thought they weren't colleagues anymore. Billy tells Phyllis he's having a conversation with Lily, but Lily says she's heard enough and walks off. Billy complains about Phyllis interrupting his meeting. Phyllis heard him asking Lily to come back after she stabbed him in the back. She had his back. She's starting to think people are right, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Billy reminds her she needs to focus on Daniel. Phyllis can focus on many, many things. Billy tells her to look after her family. He has to protect Abbott Chancellor. More. Fan devotes 100 hours to Stafford. At Nate's place, he admits he has to wonder if Amy's trying to play him. He questions if there's even a long-lost son. Amy can understand why he'd be suspicious. That's why I brought proof. She pulls out Damien's birth certificate and some old photos. Proof this isn't a scheme to take his money. She also has a lock of Damien's hair so he can have the DNA tested. Proof positive that you're related. Nate asks if she's sure she wants to give him these. Amy tells him gaining his trust is her only chance to see her son again. Nate's starting to see the logic in how she's handled this. She asks if he believes her. More. First, look photos of new ranch. On the coffee house patio, Tracy tells Alan there's a room right next to hers with room for all of his things. Billy comes in and greets his sister. Alan shakes his hand and Billy sits down. Tracy tells him they have exciting news. Alan's going to be moving into the house. Billy thinks that's great. If his sister is happy, he's happy. He asks about Ash. Tracy says Jack's with her in Paris. Alan says the doctors think she's turned a corner. Billy says at least he can look forward to seeing her at the wedding. Tracy asks why she gets the feeling he's not excited about the nuptials. Billy isn't a card-carrying member of Devon's fan club. He convinced Lily to make moves against Abbott Chancellor. Tracy's surprised by all of this. Billy tells Alan about his reputation as a screw-up. Tracy suggests, don't fail. Billy replies that he can't fail. He tells Tracy that he's taking hits from all sides. Tracy urges him to prove to those people they're wrong about him. He's trying. Tracy's so sorry. She had no idea he was battling all of this. She wants to be there for him. Billy refuses to lose. I'm going to battle every enemy that comes my way, even if that includes my mother. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. The gloves are coming off." At Nate's place, he tells Amy he'll look over the things she brought him tonight and make a decision. Amy tells him how being back in Genoa City reminds her of his father. She thinks she's going to get in touch with some long-forgotten friends. Nate sees her to the door, where she tells him Damien is not a bad person. He's just lost. More, Y&R gets a new Malcolm. At the club bar, Phyllis orders another drink and chats to the bartender about being alone. She says she's been to hell and back. "I am tough, but even the toughest of women hit their breaking point. And tonight I have hit mine." She rants that she's being screwed over when she needs real stability in her life right now. She confides that she's on a mission right now. The biggest mission of her life. It's life-altering, and "I don't care what anybody thinks of me right now. I don't care. I'm not giving up." She doesn't care what anyone thinks right now. When it comes to saving her son's life, she will not lose this fight. "I'm proving everyone wrong. I have a plan."